start with steroids.
Okay.
And hey, I'm gonna go with the numbers first because I'm a numbers guy. So we'll start with the numbers. And no, actually, let's pose the question first. I like that better. The question is, should steroid use be a violation of the rules?
See, and you know, that's somewhat of it's a tricky question from the standpoint of if it's illegal in whatever sport is going on, then I think it should be a violation. If the sport allows it to go on, then it shouldn't be. You know, I mean, it really comes down to the personal choice of the people that's governing that sport. You know what I'm saying? Just like at your job, they might allow some things, they might not allow others. And if you have someone who doesn't agree with those rules, then they don't have to play that sport. They don't have to work at that job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think by a sport saying this is illegal, I don't think that's hampering anyone's ability per se, because there are still other ways that you can get stronger or get faster by other supplements. And on the flip side, if you're allowed to take other supplements, why aren't you allowed to take steroids? I understand that argument too. You know, but
and to comment on that, the question is quite interesting, and it's posed that way for a good reason. And you highlighted it with your response. You said if it's illegal, then it should be a violation. But if the sport allowed it to happen, then it shouldn't be a problem. And the question we need to talk about is, do these sports allow steroid use to happen? Do they make conceptions or concessions? Do they make rules, create loopholes such that steroid use can continue to bring fans to the stadiums, to continue to boost jersey sales? Are they actually allowing steroid use to happen? And if that is the case, then it should not be a violation of the rules.
True. Well, and I think that you could say that, you know, steroid use, I don't think, well, it'll never be totally taken away, just because there are other uses besides people getting bigger to hit the home run. I mean, it has medical uses, and you know, so if someone gets hurt, you know what I'm saying, and if a doctor puts them on them, you know, it's not going to totally ever be taken away. I think that it has been allowed in baseball. You know, I remember back when baseball was first on the decline after the strike, people weren't going out to the ball yard, and what actually brought the fans back was the long ball. You have Mark McGwire going after the home run record. Sammy Sosa was there. Then you had Bonds. That brought so many fans back into the seats. And there's a lot of people that say that people actually knew what was going on at that time, but they just turned a blind eye to it. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever the reason may be, there was an outcry of this is wrong, this has to stop, and I think some of that probably came from people that weren't taking it, that were feeling that they were at a disadvantage because the people that were either taking their positions, records were falling. Barry Bonds was on the cusp of breaking a record that has stood for the longest time by one of baseball historians' favorite. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there was a lot of things that were going on. I think that actually led, at least baseball-wise, you know, for the outcry of this isn't right, this should be illegal.
Okay, and then that helps me to pose the ultimate question that I'm wondering. And so, with all this being said, who really benefits from steroid use being illegal? That's kind of the question that I'm having, and I want to pose it on the table, put it out there, because I'm kind of baffled by this whole steroid thing. Really I am. If we understand steroids, a little history of steroids, it was originally used or created for legitimate medical purposes, and then after being widely adapted or quickly adapted for a wide variety of other purposes, then somehow it became a threat, a monster, and needed to be controlled and or banned. And I'm not exactly sure how that happened or why that has taken place, but
and to be honest with you, I don't have an answer. Because it would seem that the steroid use actually brought people into the seats, which would add to revenue, which would be good at least for the owners or for the people that are collecting that money. So from that standpoint, it's hard to see why they would want to take money out their own pocket, by making something illegal, which at the same time is going to tarnish their sport, and make people have a negative eye towards it. But obviously someone and like you said, it does have medical uses, which means that if prescribed properly, it can be used in a healthy way. So you can't use the argument of, it's bad for your health and by doing that it'll kill you. Now there are the arguments that it changes your attitude, your demeanor, things of that nature. But there's a lot of things that do that. Alcohol does that, But that is a very good question.
And you mentioned alcohol, and here's some numbers, death statistics. This was like 2002 to be exact. So this was a few years ago, but we're just talking rough numbers here. It says there were 116,113 deaths that were related to alcohol, and there were actually 0 deaths related to steroids. So that's kind of interesting, so far as danger.
The body count.
Right. Right.
Alcohol was steroids 0.
Close, right? Yeah. Right. So whether it was 2002 or 2009, I don't think the numbers have changed that much. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure who actually benefits from steroids being illegal, but we did take a walk around the campus of the University of Akron, and this is what some of the locals had to say about the subject.
And my next question, what about steroids? Should it be a violation of the rules?
For what sport? Any sport?
Yeah.
College or professional?
Whatever the case may be, steroids.
Yeah, they should be illegal.
Yeah.
Unless everybody takes them and then it's just the same, because everyone has the same advantage.
So if it were legalized, then everyone would have that option.
Right. And then it would be okay. But if only a few people take it illegally, then it's...
So it's illegal as long as it's illegal?
Well, because if everyone takes them, the point that they're legal is because they're bad for you and because it gives you an advantage.
So I'm saying
if everyone has the advantage, then it's okay.
Okay. So I'm trying to make sense. Okay. So you're saying as long as it's illegal, if you're using it, then it's bad.
Right.
Because you're doing something wrong.
Well, and it's giving you an advantage over other people.
Okay. So, and if it were legalized,
right.
Opening, everyone has that option, then it would be okay.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear now. How about this? What about steroid use? Should it be a violation of the rules?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I know a few of my coworkers that in my occupation that tried using steroids, and one that he's absolutely destroying his life with steroids, and he's a different person completely. The temperament is different. When you're a public sports figure, you're supposed to be the pillar of, an idol for kids to follow, an idol for people to follow. And if you're doing any kind of drugs, you're just not that person. That I'm a parent too. I don't want my kids looking at these steroid users and I want to be just like him. And someone flips I flip a cigar ash in the grass and the guy's ready to come kill me because of it, because they're not in control of their mind. It's not just their bodies that are getting the enhancements, but their mind is getting desensitized. They're just angry and they're not in control. So it's a spiral that it gives an unfair advantage, and it affects the reputation of the sports teams in the United States of America or abroad.
Hey, Eric Sharkey is my name. What's your name again?
Dan Moran.
Dan?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
It's been great. Sports and Discourse. All right.
Thank you.